Varus and Akama coming at you.
Yeah, Seraphine's ability to navigate any matchup is very underrated. Like, her range is quite insane. It's very easy to farm safely on this champion. Like, her mana costs are really low. Like, the fact that she gets to run TP as well is like, even if you get hit by all this poke, you just recall TP back and you run it back again.
Yeah, it certainly is one of those champions, right, where you can actually afford to run the TP, which is interesting, I suppose, because we consider the last game, it was actually Duck running the TP on Illusion, which is a bit of a change up from what we're used to seeing. Here are your two compositions locked in for game 2. As a quick reminder, it is Bliss right now winning this series, this best of 2, 1-0. They're looking for the clean sweep then to take all 3 points and remain tied first place. We'll put them out right first for the meantime until the other games have concluded for the rest of the week. But as for Mammoth, they've shaken things up. They've denied what worked for their opposition. They've retained what did. And they're hoping for a clean slate and a clean chance to try and get the draw.
What I want to see from Mammoth this game, the fact that they have such like big prio in bot and mid, like pre-6, like I want to see Go run into the jungle and find why not. Like, he should really be fighting this guy and they should be trying to find leads pre-6, because once this Bliss comp gets online, like, it's so hard to team fight.
Yeah, it's going to be very difficult. Bliss will just have so much ability to dive and, take people out. You imagine a Kai and a Cassante both running at you and you're thinking, where are these champions going? And the entire time you've just got a running Seraphine instead of saying, like, we're here to buff you guys. Don't worry, we'll win this game. Anything stand out for you in particular about the runes? Obviously, this time it is going to be the Hail of Blades coming out of the Varus, as well as, double lethal tempo for my junglers.
I think everything's pretty standard. I think Lethal Tempo Zin is like a new thing, like with the items coming out this season, as we go into another pause, my favorite.
It is your favorite?
But I think, yeah, everything's like really standard. Nothing is really like insane this game. I'm surprised Duck didn't match the TP though from Seraphine. I feel like that's really important, like when you're versing these kind of lanes, because you can't really kill them with combat summoners, but maybe he just feels that he's a bit unsafe without cleanse this game. He needs that for the Seraphine ult.
Yeah, sure. So is there a consideration of, how would you approach this? Because I look at that and say, you feel like you're confident enough in your laning phase that you don't need it, and you can actually value the later fights even more, but do you see that from a different take?
I would say like TP is important because you keep push the entire lane. Like he's gonna find a point where like Violet just bases and TP's back to lane, and he will just like outstat him and gain the push, which is so important for how this early game is going to go, because I think if Bliss is able to just free lane and scale, it's so hard to navigate these team fights with this Akali and this Akali Zin and Cassante combo just diving on your backline.
Yeah, which is the scary thing that you already mentioned, right, about how these team fights are going to be virtually unplayable if the opposition and Bliss do get themselves fairly fed. We're back in the game, so thankfully for us, it wasn't a long pause at all. What is your best case scenario then to try and handle some of those carries if we start to think the long road as we jump into the laning phase? Is it as simple as saying you just need good vision to prevent these flanking avenues that an Akali and Cassante would be looking to try and pursue?
Well, ideally, Gwen is able to mark a flank herself. Like, she should be strong enough to be able to 1v1 some of them. And then you just need to rely on this Varus ult landing. Or, like, you need to get the Varus ult, Karma W combo to be able to deal with the Akali.
Would you say that is their win condition, and it's all about keeping tracks on those assassins? We'll count Cassante as an assassin for this discussion. It's about keeping tracks of them and then just, layering your CC and sort of your wombo, if you will, right? A Chain of Corruption and a Shockwave to make sure that they die before you die?
Yeah, it's pretty much just being able to take out, because you do definitely have the damage, it's being able to take them out before like they find those avenues to flank you from like over the Dragon walls, over the Baron walls, and like just take out your backline.
Well, there is that vision right now to start things off, right? So they do have the understanding of where Wynot is, where he'll most likely be pathing to what might be the first lane that will get shown any kind of attention. So great play here from Goodo, knowing that he's actually going to go for the invade, another ward of his own, realizing that Wynot's not going to run that way, probably coming from the underside instead. Now he's going to realize that the Trundle is denying his blue buff, and with the push favoring Mammoth, this is a really executed play.
Yeah, this is really good. This is exactly what I want to see. It's nice to know that like Mammoth know what they want to do as a gank is happening mid.
It is indeed. Flash followed there by Wynot to make sure that he will get knocked up. There is the 3-point strike, and the knockback shuriken takes him out for first blood. You said how good Harry is on these melee assassins. Well, he's got himself first blood, but can he deny the second? As 2 more flashes get burnt as Goodo tries to chomp him down.
Yeah, that's really sad that they're both able to make out there, but really good for Bliss. Really good gank by Wynot to know that like it's his one avenue of play. Uses his flash, secures the kill. But Goodo still just like has run over the jungle here. Like he just has completely free reign. Wynot can't really enter back in because he doesn't have flash. Like we'll see if he's able to secure any camps with the help of his team.
Yeah, can he do much now with a fully topped up Harry having just TP back to the lane? His bot lane is still stuck underneath their turret. They can't really do much to assist, right? Otherwise you're putting them further and further behind. And I mean, the fact that Gudo can stick around here for so long is just making sure that these 3 members, yeah, they're so insanely stacked and looking to really try and rectify what happened in game 1's laning phase.
Yeah, also a little note, now that I think about it, I'm pretty sure Halo playing Karma here, he is very proficient because I think he was one of the Karma mid players back in the day when it was really OP. So it's cool to see that he's able to translate his experience from mid to bot lane.
Well, what's the question I was considering asking during the interview, saying that, you know, what kind of champions can you bring from mid to bot? Anything in particular? You know, you look at his most played champions in his entire career, and number 1 is Orianna at 15. I'm thinking, well, you don't really tend to see Orianna support, but yeah, Karma's certainly one of those champions. Obviously, Lux as well. We'll have to wait and see if it is just going to be Enchanter Exodia for this entire split for him.
Yeah. It's just honestly like, how crazy do you want to get? I feel like you can play anything you want bot, but like, it's just how crazy do you want to get?
How much have you, you know, invested in the ability to, you know, predict what is good and what's not, and you got lost in the source, I suppose, is what they tend to say, right? Let's see where things do go in this one, because Violet is still holding on to that TP. He has gone back to base now, after taking so much harass and finally being forced to do so. We'll wait and see when that TP advantage comes into effect and just how much punishment that does put into Duck, who, as you said already, is elected for the cleanse, opting for, yeah, more combat strength.
Yeah. As you can see on the camera, like I think E-Hop's doing a really good job navigating this matchup. Like, Harry does feel extremely pressured. Level 5 Akali is around the point where like the matchup starts to swing towards Akali because it takes 2 Qs to kill the range creeps, and you're not putting yourself in a position to get poked for as long because you can just dip in and out of the wave and use your Shroud every single wave. So honestly, well played by E-Hop. I think he's playing this matchup pretty well, even though he was ganked.
You're doing good job, and is obviously, once again, as I say, giving free passage for Gudo to go and roam as he pleases. One was taken away there of those Void Grubs by Why Not. A second now going to be taken by Gudo. Flash there from Halo, the roaming support of Akana into the waning arms of his Zinzao. He props the Ignite. He guarantees that, yes, you will be falling on down, Harry, but Why Not is going to answer that one back and say, if we're ganking, I am too. He might actually look to try and take out E-Top as well. I think just got some awkward pathing through that massive wave and was unable to knock him up on auto freeze.
Yeah, Gudo needs to help E-Hop crash this wave. It's really important that this does not freeze in front of the Kali's turret. It's such a bad wave state. It looks like he's trying to counter gank instead.
He's certainly making his presence known with the Frozen Domain. In we go then. Gudo's going to look to try and put down the pillar and realize that actually I'm in a bit of trouble myself. The route onto the minion, that is the thumbs up, Scott. I'm glad you noticed that one because that obviously was not it. But either way, Harry is back and he can look to try and rectify what is now, well, down 12 CS. It's a big loss.
Yeah, Harry is really happy with what just happened. Like, he's got his boots, like his wave state's really good. He's pretty much like just navigated the entire early game just from that one mid freeze.
Good space to be. You said before level 5 is the turning point. Well, level 6s are now coming into effect, found in both mid and bot for Team Bliss. E-Hop's got his own shockwave, but Duck needs a little bit of more experience, maybe a couple of extra minions from this wave that has just arrived before he can answer back with a chain of corruption of his own. And it's good timing because the dragon is there, kind of being taken there by Gudo, so all members need to do is just push up this wave and assist.
Yeah, and we're also seeing the double support lines coming out of bot lane, which is like something new that we've seen. It's a way to get more like income onto your support. This was like really good because Senna herself is like a really strong champion right now, especially with Zac, I believe it's called, or Bloodsong. I'm not sure. Dude, don't ask me about support items.
Support items is a whole different breed.
Yeah, I don't play that role, but like yeah, they're OP. And all I know is Senna just does way too much damage with no items right now.
Yeah, he's always one of those champions that's always been in a weird spot, right? You look at the patch notes and they're undoing what they've just nerfed and they redo it and then they're saying we're going to change how you can acquire your souls if you want to be a support or if you want to sort of just sit there. I think from memory it is Bloodsong, the one that sort of empowers their damage, right? That would make the most sense to try and expose them for Scott. But I think we've seen a lot of murmuring around this online, right? Where we've seen 2 being used in pro play, but I don't know yet. I haven't watched those VODs if there've been 4, which has been running rampant, I think, in solo queue, right? Where you're down all this gold from laning, then suddenly you're up like 16k, I think, was like the extreme that I saw in this photo.
That's crazy.
Either way, though, let's see if they could find any value with this item. Violet has returned to this lane with that TP. And it's dealing out a ton of damage onto Duck. He charms him. He gets cleansed out of that one. That's the reason he's taking it there, Tally. Otherwise, he was a sitting duck.
Pun intended. No, I mean, yeah, that's why the cleanse is going to come in. Like, in those kind of situations, cleanse will be good, but it's just unfortunate he was recoiling on a ward and got caught in that position to begin with. Do you see why not hovering down to bot lane though, enabling them to hit turret? This is quite an insane bit of gold they're going to gain here, especially that Duck was forced to base and missed that wave.
Yeah, misses the cannon as well. That one gets denied. Why not with double buffs? Pokes his head into mid lane. Oh, wind becomes lightning. Beautifully dodged. E-Hop so confident in his own ability, just sidesteps. Doesn't panic, doesn't flash, doesn't care.
Yeah, honestly, very nice. It's nice to see people who just like, they still want to they sort of out micro you. Even though if you don't, you die. It's good to see.
What's not good to see is this little fight taking place in the top lane. Is both they're flirting with each other. Let's be honest. They're saying, I could maybe go in, I could maybe do a bit of damage, but ultimately I'm just trying to bait you into a jungler gank. Bio's having none of it. He does not care. Godo's going to rock up now and he's going to say, why? Why have you bothered? I've hit the ghost. I'm running away. You have just wasted your time and that pressure has been absorbed. Now, Wana is waiting in the wings. He's wondering, if you overcommit, I'm here to punish. But it's just not going to happen.
Yeah, why not just seems to always be in the right position. This is like the veteran experience of a jungler coming through. Like, he's always either there to trade a kill or like counter gank. Honestly, like well navigated by him this early game.
Well, Bliss have already put their bot lane into the mid lane, but hold that thought for 2 seconds because both the top laners, after their confusing state of affairs, have just TP'd back to the lane. Wana is still here, ready to give Nectar a welcome home present. Going to take a little bit of damage, but nothing to really get too upset about as he just goes back underneath his tower. And that does mean that Wana can just rotate through to the second spawning of these grubs and look to pick up as many of those and say, well, we're going to deny them from being picked up by you, Mammoth. But this does mean it could be quite a nice invitation for a shockwave to come on through. That could have been the moment as the all go out. Isn't going to be used just yet, but I'm just looking at E-Hop. When's it going to come out? Oh, it's only on to Bio. That's not the play. And now they've got to run away. In comes the TP from Harry. And it is very anticlimactic.
I think it was a cute little setup from Bliss. They put their bot lane mid and their mid bot because Harry still had access to the teleport, so he was able to catch the farm that was crashing the bot turret and still TP and impact the fight. Probably didn't want to TP there because nothing really happened, but you know, it's better safe than sorry.
Certainly is better safe than sorry. Just decides to prevent any possible confusion in what could have been. And it's just literally going to meander his way all the way back to that lane to continue what was happening before. Back in top side, why not once again has found a home and said, well up Gwen, you're just going to fall on down. Bio picks it up, Cassante is broken, and life goes on.
Bio is a happy top laner.
So, I suppose from this bot lane perspective, that's probably the most interesting one for 2 reasons, right? Very different matchup, or very different champion being played by Violet. First time he's been on AP. But double support items, and he's getting ganked. Hits the encore, hits nothing. And that's really uncharacteristic. That's not what you like to see as Scott's forced to flash away. Gets ignited, is burning. One more will do it. And Duck has now got a double kill. And I was just going to say, does this lethality Varus need to get fed? Well, he certainly is happy now.
Harry is looking at the collapse, but he's decided against it. He's going to trade onto E-Hop and just probably walk back mid lane. But this is really good by Godo. He sees why not top, he sees the wave crashing bot and he punishes it. And we have been talking about the cleanse on Varus, but we did not mention the fact that no one on Bliss's bot lane has cleanse against Varus, which is like very hard to navigate when the Chains of Corruption land and you just get hit by a nuke.
Basically, they just had to cop it. We'll see it once again. It's Violet being collapsed upon from 2 separate directions. Hits the ultimate, hits nothing, unfortunately. And then there's not really much that Scott can do. He does decide to burn the flash, but hard to outrun these 3.
Yeah, it's just like, it's so nice that the gold went onto Duck as well. Like, this is who you want to have the gold. Lethality items are so strong right now, and like, you can really, as you saw, like he did half the health of Seraphine himself there. You can really take over games when you get fed.
He's gone back to base to pick up the Yomu, so we've got the Ghost Blade online now, even more movement speed, even more raw damage to take those members down. Bliss's best answer back to that play is the fact that they've managed to pick up the second dragon, the mountain one at that, as a team. So that'll be their point of strength to try and rally around. Back to top lane we look once again, and nothing really happening, right? It's just you're building for the lane. Force of Nature going to be rushed here by Bio as opposed to the Haunting guys. For Nectar's Gwen to be a a burning shredder, I suppose, to put it crudely. He just wants to burn you all down, leech up an absolute storm with the Riftmaker, and just be very happy once 2 or 3 items to come on through.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Force Nature got buffed really hard, so like seeing this as a rush against a mage laner is like, it's very good. I don't think he's going to take any damage at all here if they do try to attempt this. Like, he's very happy to just waddle out of there, but we'll see what happens.
Gudo is patiently waiting for that lane gank to come to life, but it just, as you say, feels like time wasted right now. One, it does have himself the Titanic Hydra, so has an item spike over Gudo. If they were to butt heads, do you think it's enough, given that he's up so much CS and up so much items? Is that enough to try and bridge the difference between this Trundle's in?
Well, maybe we're about to find out right now.
That's what we're looking at. Wind Become Lightning once again, not going to be connecting. Too much movement speed for Gudo just to sidestep that one out, but they are looking at the Herald, and this one is again going to draw the attention of literally everybody to come up to display.
Yeah, I think the fact that we see so many completed items on Bliss right now is like such a big difference in this fight. Varus doesn't have access to TP and is staying bot, so more than likely, I hope to see Mammoth give this if Bliss decide to go for it, but it looks like Bliss themselves are the ones who are not wanting to fight around topside right now.
Well, it could be an interesting time when we talk about item spikes, because you'd say it would still favor Bliss, having got theirs online now. Now the Rocket Belt just being picked up by Hayri, still waiting for E-Hop to convert that lost chapter, as well as Gudo to get that Tiamat to something more. So would that be the difference? Would they be conscious of that? Say that we don't want to go for this Herald. They're down 2k gold, but still it is a Mammoth team that feels strong, feel inspired, aren't looking to really take their foot off the gas anytime soon. They're looking really just to wrestle control of this mid lane to try and force back the other team.
Yeah, Duck is rotating up now, so like based on how they're... Oh, he's going back bot. What am I talking about? Based on how they were posturing, like it did seem like Mammoth were locked into contesting that fight, but it seems like they're kind of hesitating about what they want to do.
Well, they hesitate for this play now because it's Bio once again locked down in the firing lines, and you say he's got the Force of Nature, he's got the Ghost, he's looking to try and get chomped upon and subjugated, but once again, he just laughs at it. You're wasting your time, you've committed 3 members here. What can we get accomplished elsewhere? Well, why not on Violet are grouped up as 2? It's actually going to be Hayri that takes the 1v1 into Dark, and if he gets the kill onto the Varus, that's a scary proposition.
We'll see if Hayri wants to go for the dive. Like, he does definitely have the damage if he lands the RE. Like, he can take him out in one swift motion, but it looks like he's just playing it safe because he could get outplayed, and like there's something that you just don't want to like. You don't want any variables to happen when you're like pretty comfortable with your game state.
That's it. Not gonna really risk anything unless an opportunity like this gets presented to you. Into the shadows, out he pops, flash, dash. You're gonna chain me, but it's out of range. And now it's the support Karma forced to try and take down the Akali. Harry actually in your faces. If you're not careful, I'll take you out for a swift double kill. But he did exactly what you said.
It's as easy as that. Like when Akali is level 11 with 1 item, she just does way too much damage. You cannot walk near her.
It was a brutal state of affairs, and one that I think Bliss are quite happy to take because they've received multiple ganks to this top lane. This Cassante just ignores it, and every single time it's happened, they've managed to accomplish something with it. Yeah,
Bio's done like a really, really good job of just absorbing pressure. Like this is his bread and butter. Like he'll play a bit forward, so you're like, oh, like I can gank him, and then he just always like lives. He's very, very good at like towing the line really well, and as we see a kidnap going on.
Look at that beautiful positioning there from Virus is going to force up the Ghost from his opposition. Now, once again, Gudo's popped his head into top lane. Feels like the 5th time we've seen it, and it's only been 17 minutes in, but he just somehow still gets away, squishy or not, all out mode or not. You can't kill this Titan.
He almost crossed the line a little bit too much, but you know, he's just done it perfectly again. He's just out of there.
He's just saying, you're insane. You're just repeating the same actions and hoping for a different outcome. It's just not going to happen. Gank elsewhere, but look, Gudo's resilient. You can't knock him down for trying and trying again. It's just not working though.
Touching on items a little bit, it is interesting to see Protobelt on Akali. Like normally you would see the Storm Surge coming in first. Like maybe he thinks that since it's a cheaper item, like he can bridge like their early game problems. As E does land, you'll see if he does want to take this and dive.
Slides against the Shuriken, flip back on in. They're certainly sending warning shots. See what they decide to do then, as he is going to still hold strong for the meantime in bot lane. He doesn't have the flash luxury this time as opposed to He-Hop, which does to try and bait Harry in if he were to go for another tower dive. And that's going to be this weird juggle, I suppose, of who's going for the dragon and who's not, because they have the inline track do Team Bliss. Mammoth only now responding to that mid lane are able to actually come across and figure out, okay, do we have any chance of this? But based on that positioning of Goodo, it's not looking too likely. The blast code to disengage away, he just wants to farm.
Yeah, it's quite unfortunate when you're on the same side of the map and you're getting the objective. Like, there's not really like much avenue you have to getting gold or resources. Like, you kind of just hoping you still jungle camps away from them before they do. Since there's not much going on top side, and Bio's just so good at just navigating those ganks.
It certainly is. Well, it's going to be the second tower and then falling on down, the first going in favor of Mammoth in that top lane. After all that work to try and kill Bio, they won't get him, but they'll take his tower instead. Heavy going to deny as much as he can, primarily this cannon, which is going to be perfectly weighted actually to get that one just done. He's going to go for the second wave, already burning that smoke screen early on as Halo and Goodo are both here. The rocket belt burnt too. Question is now, can he disengage away? The perfect execution to do just that, but a tether does connect. The totem is there, and he's in a whole world of pain. He's in a lot of trouble to subjugate, and he's dead.
Well played by Halo there. I think that's a bit of mid lane experience. Like, you know how Akali's going to play the escape there, and he preemptively flashes so the tether does land, knowing Akali doesn't have flash, and you just get the lockdown.
Looking for another kill on the top side, and finally Bio gets his answer. He says, if you change up the matchup, you change up the outcome, and that is me removing your mid laner now. So both have been taken off the table.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate there for Orianna.
Yeah, this is the scary part of the game for Mammoth, where like both Team Bliss's side lanes win and they have a better team fight. It's like very hard to navigate any picks this game because like their side laners are so mobile and tanky, and also you don't want to fight objectives because the Seraphine center really make the game hard. So like this is honestly where like the draft gap comes in.
So with that in mind then, what would you say is the best consideration? Like, what are you hoping that Mammoth can look to try and do before this gold lead like balloons out of control?
Well, it's honestly just like trading like this and also like using your Varusol. Like we've seen it's on cooldown mid, and they're going on to Harry here, see if they're trying to kill.
They certainly are. They're going to lose track of him though, out of sight, out of mind, but not for a second. As he pops back out, the Dawning Shadow goes across a little bit of extra mitigation. There is the Encore too. Just chuck out every AoE ult and just say, there you are, Mr. President, Mr. Harry, welcome back to the land and under. Get yourself another double kill and have yourself another bounty to try and be targeted. 2 TPs as we zoom out afar. Mid lane is the place to be. Until it wasn't, as they would just walk away.
Bliss is looking for another 20-minute Baron. We'll see if they're going to take this.
What they did, do you think they had the damage to do this, or is this as crazy?
I think they definitely have to sustain, for sure. They're not going to take any damage. It's going to take a while to kill, but they're definitely not losing any health. So if Mammoth does decide to walk up here, like, Bliss is still going to be in a comfortable position to fight.
No chain of corruption. The only thing available is the shockwaves. So E-Hop's got his work really cut out for him. He has no flash to reposition himself, and he's going to get pincered, surrounded by all the members, and they realize, I've tried too hard to hit that ultimate, and I will die for this one. I think that's exactly what Bliss were hunting for. They completely baited in their one scary target. Jumping across this Harry, finds out Halo. I'm going to take you down now. That's the second easy killing spree there. Goodo now only shows up to the fight. The smite that they were looking to try and use to contest arrives very late on, but by this point, it's already a 3v5.
Yeah, this is just like textbook play. Like, they just pull Baron, they know they have to sustain with Seraphine and Senna, and they just pull off and they fight again. We'll see if they do want to be able to ignore the Akali here. Her ult is up, it's just too much damage, and I think she might look to go in.
Would Harry do this? Would he 1v3? They'll concede their mid tier 1 at the cost of them re-engaging Baron once again. Mammoth are jumping into darkness to figure out what's going on. They're going to whiff and realize it's down to 50%. As you say, it takes so long for that one to fall on down. Harry goes golden with the stopwatch. In comes the TP from E-Hop to try and equal out this one. The Encore, the damage to the root, the kill potential, the shockwave is still there. Ooh. It brings in 4 members. It does a lot, but it just needs so much more to find that killer punch. And it's Scott who limps away with a double, but Harry hanging on for dear life.
Yeah, so close. What a nice shockwave coming out of E-Hop there. It's just unfortunate that, like, you're unable to finish off those kills. Everyone's just exiting so low. But that is exactly what Mammoth needed to be able to get back to the game. They're just unable to find it. As you can see, Mammoth are walking up trying to contest this, knowing that Bliss doesn't have any ults left from the previous fight. TPing in, Harry has Zhonya's. It's just like, it's really hard to execute when like they find these small windows to just like CP people, take them out. The shockwave lands on everyone, but they're not enough damage.
That's crazy there. You're just thinking that surely is the moment that you're always searching for as a mid lane player, especially as an Orianna, right? The wombo combo of your dreams, but it was much more of a sort of a martyrdom really than anything, right? Like, here's a fadeaway present. I can remind you that I can do a lot of damage, but I do need some teammates to try and help things out. It's been a game where, like, I mean, obviously we've had 15 kills, but it's felt much more about looking to say how many of these towers can we get instead, because 8 have been removed.
Yeah, this is just like it's snowballing on the fact that Bliss's side lane is just so strong. Like, it's really hard to match them 1v1 when you're just permanently getting pushed, and like, Mammoth want to group and try find picks with Barrasol, which is just leaving their side lanes open and more susceptible to getting like towers just destroyed from all the grubs they secured.
Tell you what, if anything though, it's made the map very open and perfect for flanking opportunities from both ends. Obviously, we talked about at the start of this game, the benefits that will provide to champions like the Akali and Cassante, but for Mammoth as well, they'll sort of be quite happy, especially as a Gwen, to find those moments to try and jump into the backline and remove all the sustain that both the Seraphine and Senna can provide. I mean, Moonstone complete now, even more healing being bounced around in a massive team fight all clumped up together. It really is at that point, especially with the Chemtech Soul being acquired too, or being worked towards, I should say, where you're getting a little bit scared as to how do you actually lock these champions down.
Yeah, this bot lane combo is definitely online now. You know it's OP, especially if Violet is playing it.
Shockwave onto one, flash away to deny the rocket though, as Harry's looking for the execution onto that champion. That bot lane that you're mentioning, they're so strong, they're so scary, but they're so squishy that the Dawning Shadow comes out just a fraction too late, despite the encore being started with. In comes the TP, and rocking into the fight is at half HP, but all out Mo Cassante. He's got himself a double kill. He's killed you in your base, he's killing you up here in the Baron, or rather the Dragon Pit, and he's denying your recalls back to the base. In goes Goodo, where the original bot tier 1 would have existed, and he is not winning that 1v4.
Yeah, this is just like nice that they're working on their side lanes and then collapsing with the advantage they get from their side lanes. It's just like textbook play from Bliss.
Good spot to be in, that's for sure. Thunder Sky picked up now by Wynot on the Zen, so 2 items complete. Zen's build is fully online as well, as the Cyclo Sword coming out also for Scott. And you just have to imagine, I mean, at this point they've almost hit that critical mass of saying, yeah, we can get games, but we don't really care. That wall being protected, it feels like these TPs have no cooldown right now. We're constantly seeing them whenever our camera pans away. And the wave clear, as you said before too, really has been the focus for Mammoth to try and shove out these towers, but they're constantly forced to do it because the waves are shoving into them.
Yeah, like, honestly, what can't this comp do? They just do a bit of everything very, very well.
Let's see what Wynot can accomplish now as he jumps out across the wall on towards Halo, hits the ultimate very early on, denying a lot of damage actually. He's still full HP, Violet down to 50%, Scott in the backline providing some cover fire, but Wynot's going to die, not a shield! At the very last second, surviving by a hair's breadth, and in rocks Harry. The Akali jumping into the void, sees multiple members, and goes golden underneath that mid-tier too as he comes out. He's looking to dash away again, another heal, but this time, it's not enough. Massive shutdown found by Duck, his 4th off the game. Another slow, another dash, another target locked in their grasp. That's the second kill. Make it 3 as they continue to push their W key, walking straight down the mid lane and finding yet another ace.
That's just honestly beautiful to see. Like, I think this is a really big thing to note is that Duck hasn't itemized for the Serpent's Fang yet, so these shields coming out of Violet are huge and doing so much work. Like the healing, the constant sustain is just making these team fights so hard to navigate for Mammoth. It was looking very good for them in the start, but like he just rotates his sustain and gets his team back popped up, and they was able to dive them and just run the game.
Just crazy to me that you can cycle for those cooldowns because the fights are lasting that long, that you can bridge the gap of saying, okay, almost like a wrestling match. You know, we sub a different person in. Okay, Wynot's about to fall on down, summon in the TP of Harry, and suddenly another threat appears. I mean, it's crazy just how long this fight went on for.
Yeah, like you can see how aggressive Wynot's able to play and like how low he gets in the fight. Like, but he's just healed all the way back up from the Seraphine and center. Like the combo of just like all the sustain plus the backline threat, and like Bio is just an absolute brick. Like no one is killing this guy, especially with all the sustain he's getting. Like he's able to just walk in, ult someone, dive, do the most damage on his team because that's just how that champ works. It's honestly just as easy as it gets for them.
Certainly looks to be that way right now, and I think also the itemization, it's not there, right? I mean, I just saw the Serpent's Fang get picked up as that fight broke out, but they need that, they need Grievous Wounds, they need everything, because at this point, if you can't kill the target that jumps in on you, he's got way too many members behind him backing him up.
Yeah, it looks like Mammoth is going for a Panic Baron right now. I think this is the exact position that Bliss wants them to be for a teamfight to happen.
Can we find that one shockwave to rule them all as he jumps on in, down to 50%, the 3-main encore, it is done! It doesn't matter if you have a cleanse, because you're still running away! Duck still putting DPS on towards this Baron. Halo completely locked out of the fight. Nectar's forced to dash across the wall as he's down at 20%. Duck goes down, Harry goes in, finds himself another kill. But right now, it's all about Violet. He's doing the most damage. The support is popping off. And the Baron for the second time going the way of Bliss.
Yeah, more than likely we'll see this Baron used to end the game. I think that like they're just way too far ahead, but we see pings going on to the Nexus. Why not? Does so much damage with a double TP coming in as well. I think this is probably it.
It's looking like the GG. They finished the first game before 25 minutes. They'll finish the third, or the second game, already jumping to a best of 3. They'll finish the second game before the 30-minute mark. Those two towers fall on down, and once again, in convincing fashion, with a Baron buff to escort themselves in, they'll have the minions there. They'll have the base speed passively taking them down, and they're just at your fountain, farming up these kills, and reminding you why they are the favorites and why they deserve all 3 points tonight.
Yeah, well played to Bliss. Like, I think that they came